Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Strompcast. So, what an episode we have for you today. We're in the thick and thin of things. Everything is coming, every single game. It feels like we're playing a game like every sort of 3-4 days. So, we are into that part of the season. But before I get into anything, let me introduce you to my co-host. First, got the main man, Richard. How you doing today, man?
I'm good. I didn't get to catch all this game, but I got to catch the important, crazy-ass second half. So big win. I always forget that it's 2-leg semifinals. I was like, oh yeah, we're in the cup final. I'm like, no, wait, no, we're not. Stupid, I know. And then we have the mind-numbing draw against Rio Ave to talk about as well. So so weak, but we got to remember we have the game in hand in the league as well. So
exactly, yeah. And next up is Chris. How you doing today, man?
I'm doing good. Today was definitely kind of a roller coaster for me. Obviously, I'm content with the result. I mean, beating them is always going to be a good result. Felt like it could have been more in the first half. Got the second goal early in the second half. Still feeling pretty good. Thought we threw it away basically completely in about 5 minutes. And that would have been pretty undeserved. I mean, they didn't have that many chances that they deserved 2 goals. But we got out of there with a win, which is the most important. Kind of a weird game, but yeah, I think the most important is that we're going to the luge with an advantage. But I mean, let's be real, it's all to play for in the second leg. And it on a slightly different situation, it could have been maybe a foot and a half into the final if we won like 3-0 or something like that. But
if only that Nuno Santos
all to play
counted.
For. True. That would have been nice. A nice little stoppage time aggregate patter.
Yeah.
No, they should have just let it count, man.
They should let it count.
That was
you know what
ridiculous,
we need? Dude. You know what we need in football, and like it'll burn us one of these days. We need to be like, yeah, but it was a banger, so it counts anyways. Fuck it. We need that rule.
I mean,
like,
Patrick Mahomes thinks that should be a rule. Like, if it was sick, it should just count.
Yeah, it should just be that should be a rule. If it's a banger, it should just count. Like, yeah, it'll probably burn us one of these days too, but we're getting robbed. Every team's getting robbed at some point of a sick goal because of that.
Yeah, it's the fact the ball came off Arthur Cabral first. I know Paulinho was still offside, then it hit Paulinho. So you feel like if Arthur Cabral just heads it normally, does it?
It's probably it probably holds up. Yeah.
Yeah, but to be fair, it was offside, but still a crazy goal. And last but not least, follow me there as well. Most importantly, make sure you follow all things Alvalade on all social media platforms.
That was a better goal than the Puskas nominee, in my opinion.
Yeah?
Yeah, I agree. 100%. There's
more. I mean, obviously it didn't count, so the Puskas
goal it was better, pretty sick.
But to be fair, I thought Potts' goal was probably more deserving than Nuno Santos's for the
Arsenal one.
Puskas goal. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair. I'm surprised that one didn't even end up nominated.
Not just the game, but like a game against Arsenal.
I guess because it kind of happens like a couple times a season. Like there's it
happens a couple times a year, right? So I guess they're just like, it needs to be something you really don't see that often.
Yeah, you don't see the Trivela goal that much, even if it was only from like 8
yards.
Yeah,
you don't see a lot of Rabonas and Trivela, so those are always going to get a bit of priority.
And also, I think you can also put it down to like a goalkeeper mistake from Ramsdale. Or I feel like you have to have.
He was way off his line.
I mean, you kind of have to get scored on from like 70 yards out.
Yeah, like you got to be way off your line to get scored on from the halfway line. Yeah. I don't know about that, Kiko. I'm not quite sure about that, Chief. Gonna have to say I disagree. Gonna disagree.
Yeah, let's get straight into the game at hand. Has been finished probably less than 10 minutes or something like that. But here is the lineup as followed. Israel replacing Dan, Eduardo Quaresma, Coates, Diamonde, Morita, Hulman, Jenny, Edwards, Pedro Gonzalez, Mateus Reis, and Yoquez off the bench as Gaio, who should have arguably had 2 goals, but I digress. Nuno Santos, Danny Bragança. St. Just first appearance, I think, in probably about 3 months, I want to say, maybe 2.5 months. St. Just is back and Paulinho is also back from injury. For the Benfica side, Trubin, Antonio Silva, Otamendi.
Yeah, Pleasant and then immediately got a yellow card.
Off the bench. Yeah.
He still came in.
He came in on a yellow. That's the reverse. That's the reverse strat, I guess. I don't know.
The Otamendi, Alzones, David Neres, John Mario, Kokshu, Jean Neves, Di Maria, Rafa off the bench, Murato, Tengstedt, Gouveia, and Arthur Cabral. Richard, I'll start off with you. Actually, no, sorry. I'll start with Chris because I think Chris watched the full 90. Then I'll come to
Chris
you,
watched the whole
What were your-
90. I watched like most of the second half. I was working.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah,
Start
Chris,
with
what
him.
were your overall thoughts in this game?
I thought we came out and we're basically all over them. The goal came pretty early, the first one, and I thought it was, the result of like a great opening 10 minutes. I mean, basically the whole first half, I would say that we were, in generally speaking, all over them. We had multiple good opportunities. We looked dangerous. We looked organized. We countered well. I was very, very happy with the first half. My only critique was that I thought we could have scored a second, and maybe even a third, but at least a second. And I was like, this might come back to bite us in the ass. It's only 1-0. A great 45 minutes of football doesn't mean anything if Benfica comes out and has one chance. It's tied up, So, when the second half started, I was I thought that, Benfica grew into the game a little bit. We definitely took our foot off the gas after we scored the second goal, probably about like the 55th minute. Foot got taken off the gas a little bit. Benfica started to grow into the game more, but they still were not creating that many clear-cut opportunities. Just judging by the sheer fact that Franco Israel literally didn't have to do anything. Basically all he was doing was picking the ball out of the net. I wanted him to have to do something, like every game he plays, I want him to like face
To
some
have at
shot.
least a couple moments, right?
Yeah,
Like
he
a couple,
literally
like
every game he plays, he
something.
literally doesn't have to do anything.
Yeah.
He had like one save, and it's a save he should be making. And then he's, I guess we'll get into the second goal, or the goal that was disallowed, the Benfica goal that was disallowed. But I mean, he's picking the ball out of the net more times than he's making saves. Not even as a reflection on him poorly. It's just that there's just like wasn't that much to do. So to think that the game got like tied up in the blink of an eye, 5 minutes, really like their first two real big chances. The second one is like kind of like a half chance. It kind of ricochets around, falls right to Di Maria. I mean, that would have been a very, very sporting way to end this game. 2-2, all over them for like 80 minutes, more XG, and then, allow it to slip away in 5 minutes off two chances. But fortunately for us, Verissimo came through on the second goal. I think that I didn't really notice anyone say it on the first goal, but Tankstedt, who I don't even know how you say his name, I think that's how you say it, something like that, who is the one that gets called offside on the second goal, is offsides on the first goal as well. You could say he didn't really try to head the cross went to the back post. Okay, that's fine. But I mean, he goes for it and then he stops. When he realizes that he can't reach it, he stops. So, I mean, that rule is very selectively used, I would say.
Yeah.
And I've seen some angles of the Nuno Sense of Tankstedt screening Israel, and it doesn't really look like he's screening him all that much. I guess it kind of depends on the angle that you look at it from. I know Hulman got one called back earlier this season for that. It's selectively enforced, but I mean, I guess I'm glad it happened in this situation because it did stop.
I think that's the best
I
angle.
feel like that. Yeah, I think that's the best angle. It's kind of tough to really call that one.
That one is the most favorable angle to Sporting. The other angles look like he's not screening him.
The other angles, I think, if you're a Benfica fan, you have a real reason to at least feel very hard done by on this one.
The review was quick too. I mean, he looked at it for like 10 seconds.
I felt like this one should have probably counted, and the 2-1 goal probably should have actually come back, if I'm being brutally honest with myself.
I don't think I saw a single person on the timeline complaining or mentioning this, but like
I saw one or two.
Cross goes into two guys in the middle. One of them's offside. I mean,
I think this one should have upheld, and the first one maybe should have come back. I'll stick by that. Well, first of all, I missed both goals. So here's what happened. I was like, all right, we just scored 2-0. I just finished work, so I got to catch like the 2-0 goal. I go upstairs, go get something to eat because I hadn't eaten all day. Come back down, it's 2-2. I went, what the hell just happened here? What in God's name? How long was I up there? And then they annulled this goal. And I was like, I don't know why they annulled it. And then after seeing the replay, I was like, ooh, that's kind of a little shady. We're gonna get into his guy in a minute, Jose. Don't you worry. I have some opinions on Ricardo Gaio. He had one of the most Ricardo Gaio moments I think I've ever seen in the second half. He gets the ball in an attacking
He had
position.
2 of the exact same chances.
I don't think he
Identical.
realized how much time that he had. On
I
the
don't think
run
he
where it
realized
ricocheted right back
anything.
to him.
I don't think Ricardo Gaio realizes
You got to
anything.
hit the target there at least. Man.
He gets the ball. He doesn't know what to do. He looks. Somebody on the timeline put out that he looks like Vicstar 123 playing soccer.
He does
And you
look
know what?
confused.
They're not wrong. He looks very confused all the time. He got the ball, was confused as to why he had the ball or how he got the ball. Dribbles into the defender. Somehow it still works, and he gets a chance in an even better attacking position to get a shot off. He's wide open. It's a free shot. All you got to do is hit the net. He sails it over the net. I'm like, my brother in Christ. How, Sway?
He literally didn't expect to find himself in that situation. He's like,
He didn't expect to find himself in either situation. He screwed up the first time. It still managed to work out, and then he screwed up the second time anyways. He is one of the players of all time. He is such an enigma to watch on the pitch. Watching Ricardo Gaio attempt to play football is an experience. That's all I got to say on him. Just wow. Because that's the one I messaged the group chat. I'm like, man, he had it on a platter somehow, even though he shouldn't have. And he missed. Because he's a bum. That's my thoughts on Ricardo Gaio. I just wanted to get that out in the open because that was he's got something on Ruben, I swear to God. Gaio wasn't great. Poth was good. Patricia actually looked decent from what I was able to watch. Edwards, I was glad he came off because
Edwards
minutes I got to watch.
Fucking
The few minutes I got to watch
play.
from him, I was like, yeah, I'm happy to get you off the pitch.
And if you remember a couple episodes ago, I slated him for never getting penalties. To be fair,
and then he got one.
He dove, complete dive.
He dove his ass off there.
But he fooled the referee. That's the first time I've seen him fool the referee in a while. I mean, that's probably going to come back. I think it came back for offsides, right? Because there was an offsides in the build-up as well. Mm. But, I mean, I think that pen was probably going to come back. But credit to him. He drew it.
He tried. An attempt
He drew it in real time.
An attempt.
More of that, please. But, yeah. The rest of his game, borderline on.
Yeah, he was not. The little bit I got to see of him, every time he got the ball, he just didn't do anything.
He's constantly in dangerous areas. He just doesn't.
Yeah, he's in there. He's in the right spot. It's like his follow up is just not good at all. Quaresma looked good. Hulman was awesome. Morita was awesome.
Morita was ridiculous.
I think we missed Trincao in this game. I think he would have been ripe for this. Nuno Santos, when he came on, didn't actually look bad. He had the banger that almost was, but then it wasn't.
Yeah, I was getting so pissed at Mateus Reis just wasting every crossing opportunity.
Yeah, he was fine defensively. I had no issues with him defensively.
Yeah, he was fine. I mean, that's a good Mateus Reis game, right? All things considered.
Yeah, in the attack, it was infuriating watching him attempt to cross. Like, I think 6'7". I could see giving him like a 6'1" or like a 6'2" maybe, but 6'7's a little generous.
6'7" is aggressive.
By goal point. That's about 0.6 or 0.7 too high for him, I would say. I think a 6'1" would have been fair because he was good defensively. But yeah, on the attack, he was his usual baffling self. Kawach looked good. Israel, I think you're right. It's not totally his fault. Like, it's not his fault. He doesn't get to see shots. Like, good on the defense.
Really well timed.
It was a really good finish.
As
well.
Yeah, it's just like, man, he doesn't do well in games. Period, because he's not getting to face any shots. I don't need him to face like super high percentage chances either, but like a couple where he's got to at least work a little bit for it, just to get him into a bit of a groove, right? Because that's the worst thing. Speaking as someone who played keeper, the worst thing is when you have nothing to do, and then the second a ball comes right after, the second a shot comes in, you're letting it in because you're just not warmed up.
You say that
basically.
it clearly doesn't work for Adan. He can have 10,000 shots.
Adan is another enigma. We're gonna get into the Rio Ave.
I mean, he often concedes on like chance 1 of 1, though. To be fair, so
yeah,
he does.
He did that in the Rio Ave game. Let me tell you, he absolutely did that. Chance 1 of 1 and 2 of 2. He did that. Jenny,
no.
I didn't really make much of Jenny. He was just kind of there. Yeah, there's not much.
I mean,
really
he
to
showed
add. I'm not gonna add much.
flashes.
Yeah, he shows a little bit of
Almost
skill,
scored up
little
a free kick,
flash.
a bit wide.
Yeah.
Not a bad hit though. I was actually
Good assist
wondering
in the
who was going
Gyökeres
to
goal,
take
though.
that. I was wondering who was going to take that free kick because, like, I feel like we don't really have a set free kick taker.
We don't really have any, even on penalties. Like we kind of rotate between like Pot, Gyökeres, and like sometimes a third, depending, right? Like we don't really have any set in stone like set piece takers, which is, I guess, an okay problem to have, that you can have like a few different guys and rely on them. Yeah, not much I'm gonna add to this game. I'm glad we got the win. We go in with an advantage at least. We know what we need to do now. It's in our hands at least, but there's still a lot to play for.
Is there away goals in this?
No.
I have no clue. Is there away goals?
As far as I'm
know.
aware, I think they scrapped that.
If somebody
I have to
in
look
the
it up on a
chat knows,
competition by competition basis now because CONCACAF,
Yeah,
they
'cause
did have
most-
it, you know. So
because I know in UEFA competitions they don't. I
I
know
think they scrapped
in
it here as well.
I think in
almost
England they
confident.
don't. I know CONCACAF still uses them because, of course, why
Yeah.
wouldn't we? We're CONCACAF. CONCACAF had to do a friggin'
they got rid of it last
drawing
year.
a lots yesterday. They had to do a friggin' coin flip yesterday to determine for the women's
Yeah, they
Gold
don't
Cup.
have it. There's no away goals. So
There is no more away goals in the toss, so we can confirm that.
Yeah.
All right.
So we can lose
I
1-0
wasn't
and
sure.
not go out.
So it's basically just don't fuck up too bad in the next game. Basically, just do what you know what you need to do. It's in your hands, kind of thing. So I have not much else to add. Sam, I'll pass it off to you, good sir.
I was just going to say, well, I've got a lot about this game that I think. First of all, for me, that's a penalty. Stonewall, Pedro Gonçalves. I think the reason it's not given is because of the way he falls, because it's very sort of dramatic, like
it's theatrical.
Very.
My grandpa was like, "Oh, get up, get up, get up." I'm like, if this happened anywhere else,
I was
on the
at
field,
first.
If this happened anywhere else in the field, he's gonna call it 100% of the time. I just think he didn't want to call a pen in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah, and if you look at it from the first angle, you're like, okay, fine. But then you see John Evans actually kicks him first, but then also we scored directly off that play anyway. It was
right after it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I guess it doesn't really matter in the grand scheme of things, but yeah, I thought overall we played really well. I was really impressed with Israel. His distribution was fantastic. I thought he was obviously. I still don't think the goals are his fault, and the 5.5 will obviously be due to the fact that he conceded twice, but nothing he could have done on the goals. I think he was let down on the first goal by Diamonde and Mateus.
He was screened on the second goal. We'll just go with that, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah,
pretty much. But even still, that was a really good finish from Di Maria.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also like they've kind of left them hung out to dry, anyways, right? Like what are the defense? They're all caught ball watching on that second goal that gets called back, right?
Yeah,
like they leave the guy wide open.
Like Chris said, I think
it took like a weird ricochet off like Human kind of, or I think, right?
Yeah, they're all ball watching in the middle. He's right in the middle of the box. He puts it as deep into the corner as you possibly could, just about. Or there's not much you can really get super mad at him for there.
Yeah, but for me, looking at Israel was really good distribution wise. I thought Coates probably had one of his best games of the season, one of his best games in a long time. He stopped arguably 2 goals, one from John Neves and one from Tengstedt in the second half. But I thought he was really good at command and defense. But I think the 3 best players in the game, Pedro Gonçalves, Morita, and Hjulmand, all 3 of them almost didn't put a foot wrong. Hjulmand getting the yellow card was a bit stupid and I think very unnecessary. But Morita,
I was a bit nervous for him when he was pursuing aggressively in the second half.
Yeah, it was like, don't do anything too stupid.
Bro, you gotta be careful. Like,
yeah.
Yeah,
Man,
it
like,
reminded me
settle
exactly of
down.
Gonzalo Inacio in the game before, where it was like he got a yellow card, then like 10 minutes later he got sent off. That's what I was worried about.
Yeah.
But he managed to stay there. But yeah, I thought the pivot of them two was fantastic. But for me, Pedro Gonçalves stole the shot. He was just so good. It felt like everything he was doing came off. And putting him in that wing position, we've said it ages. If in the middle, he's not that great. But on the wings, when he can roam and he could take players on like he did today and do long balls, that was Pedro Gonçalves I remember in 2020, 2021, because that's how good he was today. And getting the goal, getting a header. If I said to you, by the way, guys, Pedro Gonçalves going to score a header today, you would be like, okay, no, never. He would never
I'd have
score a
taken
header.
him to score. I said I believe he'll score. I agree with you on the first half, but the second half you've lost me.
I'd have to watch it back
Yeah.
again, but I'm fairly certain that Portuguese international center back Antonio Silva completely loses his man on that play.
It was
Bar.
bar. It was bar. I
Bar?
think.
Oh, it was Ba? Okay.
Yeah, it was bar. I think Antonio Silva was on Gyökeres, I want to say, or maybe Otamendi was on Gyökeres, but it was.
He just
Bar
kind
at
of
the
drifts
back
to the
post.
back post, and he's not really followed that closely.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, it was a great header. I do think maybe the keeper should have done a
I
bit
think
better. but at the end of
Human
day,
put the ball in, right?
Yeah, it wasn't super.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a super powerful header at all.
Hume with a pinpoint cross, perfect cross.
He's had a couple assists recently and a couple goals. I
Yes.
mean,
He's had a good. Yeah,
he's low key like a 5-goal
Yeah.
season dude. You know, we were shitting on him for a
That's
while
pretty
because he kept taking like 3 shots from outside the 18 and like not really getting that close. But I mean,
He's got
a couple go in
goals him.
recently.
He's got
Yeah,
some assists in him.
he's got some goal. I think he's got
His fancy stats will appreciate.
he's got
him.
more goal in him than Palhinha and Ugarte had. And they both
Yes.
still
Yeah.
had a little goal in them, but Humelin has more.
Palhinha has a little more goal in him now at Fulham, but he never had much at Sporting. To be fair,
It just didn't go in that much. But
he had
some
like one or
chances.
two that was like he deserved to probably score on.
Yeah, but now
didn't.
he's like scoring like 6 this season.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I thought I do love Gyökeres. I think today was a weak game. I thought as soon as they swapped Antonio Silva onto him, he was quiet, but he still scored, still running 90 minutes per game. There was one part that I thought he was going to get subbed off because he was pretty much walking back, and then
A couple of times I feel like he let them off the hook. You know, like where he drives down the wing, drives across, beats 1 or 2, and then just kind of shoots it into the defender. I feel like 2 or 3 times he really let them off the hook. It's like, keep going, bro.
Like go for it.
Or
Yeah,
he would
go for it,
he would
right?
settle for like a half chance. A lot of block shots today because I felt like he was just kind of settling. But I mean, he's putting himself in great spots. He beats like an average of like 10 people off the dribble, you know, total in a game. So ridiculous.
yeah,
And the second
definitely,
goal,
yeah,
I mean, he made that look so easy.
he did, and it was a good pass from Jenny as well. I know we spoke about Jenny a little bit, but I thought it was a really good pass from Jenny.
Shrugs off
And,
a world champion center back and just basically just dribbles it into the net.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like even at Gyökeres' so-called like not good game, he's still one of the hardest workers.
He still has
pitch.
a better than average game.
Yeah, exactly. A bad Gyökeres game is like a really good Paulinho one, or like a really good like
Yeah.
back in the day, like
It's a really
2 years
good
ago, Slim
anybody
Money one,
game.
something like that. Yeah, exactly. But I thought he was. It's weird. I thought he was okay, but he was also great in the same way. Not okay. He wasn't clinical. I think that was it. Wasn't as clinical as usual, but was a workhorse.
It's an average game for him, I guess, right? But it's above average for most others.
Yeah.
Yeah. And there were some shots that he was taking. I agree. It was a bit selfish. There's that one where he could have squared it and he just went for the side, like near post side netting, and just didn't really work out. But I think you can let him off because when Edwards did have a clear opportunity and all he has to do is shoot, he takes 3 touches for some reason and then smacks it right into João Neves.
Yeah.
Just shoot first time, Marcus Edwards. And I was going to say, I thought he was the worst player on. For either side, I thought Edwards was the worst player. He was just not doing well. He kept getting dispossessed. Everything he tried didn't come off. He had opportunities to score. The dive, of course, even though for somehow got given, but he's lucky. It was
Not
offside,
even
so it
close. It was such a bad call.
It probably would have gone to VAR. He probably would have got a yellow card for simulation as well. He's very lucky that was called up. But I do like Edwards. But recently, I was saying it to my dad and my brother. I think that it's weird. When Trincão's on form, it's always Edwards isn't. Or when Edwards is on form, it's always Trincão.
It's never both at the same time. They're both such streaky players, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel confidence is big for both of them. If they're confident, then they're one of the best players in the league. But Edwards doesn't have it at the moment. And I don't know why, because at the start of the year, it was Gyökeres and Edwards with all the confidence and Pedro Gonçalves with none. And now it's like Pedro Gonçalves and Trincao have the confidence.
And if
none
you
for Gyökeres
remember
and
from
Edwards.
like the past season or maybe like season or two, like he kind of would have like a lull of a spell, but then there'd be a big game and he'd play so well. Like
Yeah, he'd go nuts.
Edwards in like last season's Edwards would have had a great game in this game. You know, he would
Yeah.
have popped off against young
Yeah.
boys in Europe, but he just hasn't.
No.
Yeah, it's strange. I don't know if there's like maybe an injury or something, but yeah, it's just not great. But in terms of other standout performances for me, like I mentioned, I thought Israel was really good at distribution, and he didn't really put a foot wrong for me. Like I said, I know he conceded, but I still think that wasn't his
He
fault.
couldn't have done much worse than the game that preceded this one. That's for sure.
Yes, definitely. And I think he's much better with his feet than Adan is. 100%.
Don plays like he's got two left
And-
feet.
He plays like he's wearing bricks or something. But like, yeah, he's just not. I think Israel. He should get the benefit of the doubt on. Is it Sunday? I think we play against Ferenc. I think he should get the benefit of the doubt.
I'd play him.
Yeah, I know, but we'll get into that in a minute. That's fine. We'll go there. But
Yeah,
the only one before that, I just want to put one more negative, and that is on Diamonde. I thought he was poor today, and I mentioned the goal I thought was his fault, and Mateus Reis is definitely partly to blame for it. But ever since coming back from AFCON, I don't know what it is. Diamonde again is someone I think needs confidence. Just didn't have it today, and like he didn't do anything like crazy bad, but he just isn't him. And maybe because he's playing on that left side, which is obviously usually Inacio's place, and he usually plays maybe where Coates or Quaresma is, playing a whole different side. But I don't know. Even the game against Rio Ave, it wasn't a great game. And he's one that I think, Quaresma's in good form, Coates is in good form, Inacio's in good form. I think it leaves Diamonde out. Yeah, and with Saint just coming back for maybe 25 minutes at a time, I don't know where that leaves Diamonde off the bench.
Blow out his friggin' toenail in the next game.
Yeah, but yeah, other than that, the substitutions were fine. Edgar, I mentioned, had two easy chances. Well, not easy chances to be fair, but bare minimum, you should get those on target as a bare minimum on target, not two so far over the goal. Someone said he could be a kicker for, I think it was the Patriots, which definitely is what I was thinking.
I think they need a kicker. Yeah, they do need a kicker. So yeah, maybe a good signing.
might be the move. I don't know. Could be the move.
Yeah, but I thought we played very well for 60 minutes, and then we did fall off a little bit from then.
Yeah.
And then as soon as they scored the first goal, I did feel the second one coming. I think we did get lucky that it was offside. I personally still believe it's offside, just due to the rules and obviously due to the Human versus Braga situation. But it is, I would feel hard done by, and I did feel hard done by when it was Braga. But at the end of the day, rules are the rules, and apparently they stick to them.
Sometimes,
yeah,
every once in a while when they feel like it.
But yeah, man of the match for me is Pedro Gonçalves. Rich, what about you?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Pot as well. I'll go Pot.
Chris?
I'm gonna go Human.
That's reasonable.
Yeah. Fair enough. To be fair, I think you could probably make a case for a lot of players in this game. But I think the ones we've chosen, definitely. The Morita, James, 100%.
Yeah, I thought Morita was huge this game.
Yeah. The only one thing I want to say, what it felt, I don't know if you guys felt the same. It felt like they just didn't want to tackle João Mario. He just kept getting, Edwards especially, and Jenny. Every single time, it's like, just put a foot in, someone slide him, just someone, I'm not saying like crunch and get a yellow card.
Do something.
Like, there were so many times he just ran through the middle.
Yeah.
And no one wanted to put a foot in. And there's this one play that Pedro Gonçalves had the ball, and João Mario needed no hesitation just to slide in as hard as he could. And then the exact same play was happening to João Mario, and Pedro Gonçalves just stood there. I'm just like, someone else just slide on João Mario. It just felt like they didn't want to tackle him. But I don't know. Maybe that was an Amorim thing. Or maybe, I don't know. But it worked out in the end, I suppose. But yes, from one game onto another. Definitely one that wasn't as, fruitful as this game.
But this is one of the games of all time.
It is a 3-3 draw versus Rio Ave. A down with a 2.4 Damn,
Is that
crazy.
Is that worse than the Marseille game? Because that's got to be close.
I think Chris
That's
might know. I think
gotta
it
be
was equal,
close.
if not.
I think it's a bit worse because I think the Marseille game
That's
actually
crazy
might
because
have
he
been
got
like a
sent off in the
2-8.
Marseille game too.
Yeah. Yeah. But anyway, Danny Gold, Diamande Coates, Ignacio Nuno Santos, Jenny Human, Morita, Pedro Gonzalez, Trincao, and Yokres with a goal off the bench. Edwards, Quaresma, and Mateus Reis. Adrian Silva making a cameo appearance. Rio Ave as well. Actually played pretty well, I thought.
He
But
played
other than
well,
that,
yeah. Of course he
yeah.
did. Why wouldn't he?
Richard, what were your overall thoughts on this game?
Oh, Jesus H Christ. I'm just gonna start with the Don because why not? So the first goal, they take the lead like right away. It's their first shot. It's not a bad shot. It's a decent shot, but it's like you could probably do a bit more to get to it. We let that one slide. Then we have the goal. Then we have the tying goal. We score. Great. All right. We take a lead. Great. No problem. And then Antonio Adon in the second half proceeds to just I have no words. I almost have no words for this one. As soon the play where he comes out and the guy and the Rio Ave forward they're basically going for the ball. Adon is nowhere close to the ball. The ball has passed him by the time he makes contact with the Rio Ave player. I was speechless in the moment when it happened. I'm speechless about it now. I have no words for that. How we were lucky to escape with the draw at times. I felt like we did not attack this with much urgency. Our XG was lower than theirs, which tells you a lot. Kawach was good, Hulman was good, Marita was good. Everyone else was average dog shit. Like Jetty was bad. I thought Nuno Sanch was infuriating for large stretches of this game. He tried a Rabona cross, I think, at one point. I was like, you need to knock it off. Mateus Reis then decides to come in for Nuno Sanch. He was just as bad as Nuno Sanch, if I'm being honest. Quaresma came in. He was actually good. I was happy with Quaresma. Edwards came in for Trincao, who looks like he got picked up a little bit of injury, so I get it. But Edwards did not do anything inspiring this game at all. Yeah, the only players I want to give any shout outs to is the 3 goal scorers and Morita. That's really it. This was painful to watch at times. This is a game where Adon really cost us points, and it showed. This was one of the worst goalkeeping performances he's had since joining the team. The fact that it's somehow worse than the Marseille game on the goal point rating, and he got sent off in that game speaks volumes. There was a couple plays too where he just like fumbled the ball and like was just giving the ball away, like instead of putting it up the wing like most goalies get taught to do. The minute you start playing goal is never put up the middle. He decides to throw a suicide pass up the middle. Like he is just so baffling to watch as a goalie. Everything you're taught not to do as a goalie, he does. And it's the most infuriating thing to watch. You need to catch a ball. Nope, he just punches it. You need to catch the ball or punch the ball away. No, he palms the ball away. You need to put the ball up the wing. Nope, let's put it right up the middle into no man's land. Not even a 50-50 ball. A ball he has no chance to get to. Ball's already past him, and he gives away a needless, stupid, silly penalty because he nails the guy instead of the ball. As soon as I saw it, I knew it was saw him come in. I knew he was screwed from the get-go because why wouldn't he be? He was so bad this game.
Even he knew because he straight away was like,
I hope you better know. You better know. If you didn't know, I'd want him shot. Come on, man. If you don't know in that moment you screwed up, there is a problem.
yeah, I know, but you know, usually when you commit a foul and you were like, you pretend you didn't do it, even if you did.
Oh,
And to be fair, I'm surprised he didn't. I'm surprised he didn't get carded for it because if you look at it, he is the last man. There's no one next to him. The guy, I don't know if he's through on goal, but he's past you. To me, that's a red. And with a red, I think we're a man up anyway because Adon is shit and then Israel comes in.
We're basically playing even strength at that point. Yeah, I was actually shocked he didn't get a card. That's kind of an oversight on the ref, to be fair. I thought he would have at least gotten a yellow. Because he took the guy right out. The ball was nowhere to be found in what I guess you could describe as a challenge. So the ref kind of let him get away with that one. Just calamitous all around. Infuriating to watch. Big missed opportunity because this is such a pain in the ass game. It's a trap game too. We had a feeling, and then try as they might, Carras, Hillman, Quach, and Marita tried as they might to get something going. They just couldn't. They couldn't get enough. They had a chance to go up like by 2 at one point, and it kind of came back to bite them in the ass. I was like, if you don't get another goal, like to make this 3-1, you might not get the full 3 points. And I was very much proven right in that moment. And that's all I have to say about this dumb game.
Yeah, fair enough. Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I mean, all their goals came from set pieces, right?
Yeah.
2 penalties and a corner.
Free kick.
Or a free
no,
kick.
it was a corner. That's right. Was it
Yeah.
a free kick or a corner? I don't even remember. That's how infuriating I am.
Yeah. No, the first goal was just a banger, actually.
Yeah, no, the first goal was a decent.
Yeah.
That's why I said the first goal was a good goal. It was a decent. He could have done. Ladon could have done more to get to it. It's infuriating because it's the first shot the whole game from either team. It's literally the first attempt at goal from either team the whole game.
It was a good response, but yeah, I mean,
yeah,
it really solidified that no matter how good our team is, no matter how good the game's going, at any moment, really any moment, we can concede from basically anything.
At any given moment, we can capitulate.
Yeah, we can concede to anyone off of any shot, any chance, anytime. So you just got to keep that in the back of your mind. A 1-goal lead is never going to be safe, literally ever. 2-goal lead is always going to be dangerous because anyone can just get right back in the game. They kind of gave us a free goal. I think it was the second one, just kind of a really bad turnover. And Jokeres didn't waste it. But I was actually foolish enough to think that we were probably going to be looking good after that. We recovered the lead
I was
right before half, 2-1. We're not going to look back now, right?
Psych.
Not to be the case. Not to be the case. And we actually did well, I thought, to even get a result. The response, the Kawats header came basically 3 to 5 minutes after we conceded. So it was honestly a great response that left enough time to try to attack for the win.
Just couldn't do anything.
But we didn't really. We weren't super dangerous, honestly, after that Kawats goal. I expected to be maybe a bit more frenetic of a finish, but it really wasn't. Yeah, it sucks, obviously, to drop points. We lost our shared, I guess, first place with Benfica, even though we have a game in hand. They now have an outright lead, 2-point lead.
2 points, right?
Yeah, which is it's sus, even with the game in hand. I just want to kind of get that game out of the way so we know where we stand. But it's tough. It's tough. This is not that great of a Rio Ave team. It's not been that great of a season for them. It's been up and down.
Are they not in a close to a relegation battle too?
They're closer to the relegation than they are to not being in relegation, but they have gotten a little bit of breathing room at this point.
I think you could say that for most of the teams.
For 7 or 8 teams.
Yeah, there's 8.
They're tied, so they're tied for 16th right now. So they're ahead on goal differential because theirs is -9 and Portimonense is -25. Ugh, gross. But they're tied on points, so they're not looking so hot. Let's put it that way. Not a great Rio Ave team.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I don't want to speak about the game. I just want to speak about Dan because we've been saying it for years. We've been saying it for years, literal years, and we got slandered on. We got slandered on Twitter for weeks, for months, because apparently we were haters and we weren't, we weren't being the best sporting fans. Because,
you know what? I am a hater. I'm number one hater. Fuck all of you. I'm a hater. I'm drinking haterade. Screw all of you. I am a hater.
No,
I'll
but
admit that.
I think we all remember. But I think Chris might remember more, just because of the amount of hate we were getting. People were tagging Sporting 160, saying that we weren't good Sporting fans. We were being called every name.
One of
under the
my
sun.
jokes was one of the things that got people the most mad at us when I
There needs
quote
to be a
tweeted.
sarcasm font
I
on Twitter.
quote tweeted the Europa League account and said Adan propaganda, and like people freaked out. To be honest,
People lost their minds on the internet.
I was
over that.
kind of joking, but I also like it was like a half joke. It was like a tongue-in-cheek joke. Like, yeah, I don't think that like the Europa League account is doing propaganda like for it. I don't think his agent like messaged them and was like, "Yo, post this highlight reel."
But people thought you thought that.
It was at a time when people were starting to be like, "Yo, does this dude suck?" And then they post that, and I was like, "Oh, it's joking." Like, "Oh, they're trying to post some propaganda to get everyone back on their side." And yeah, people were mad. And I mean, looking back on that, I think we might have been right.
I think
it's not even think. We were correct.
Right. We were correct in that one. I think I'm willing to die on this. I die on a lot of hills. This one, I think we as a group can die on. He'll
right always have Arsenal away. You know, he had a great. I was probably.
He'll always have the 2021 Liga season. You know, but that's it.
Yeah. The thing is,
I don't really remember him standing on his head like in any.
That's what I was going to say. I don't remember him. I don't remember him being like a great performance.
I remember him being good, like except for the Solananch game that they almost blew.
Yeah, I've had more Dan. I've had more things saying, "Oh, Dan cost that game," and wow, Dan won us that game. What a performance! Because it's true. It does.
I can count on one hand the amount of times Dan's like saved us the game. I would need like several hands to count how many times he's cost us the game. It's like one hand I could count how he saved us. More. I don't know. I'm tired. It's tired. I'm late. I don't know anymore.
So for me, I saw it. Chris saw it. Richard saw it. Steph, Dan, everyone saw it. Stevie Wonder could see it that he is not he's not good enough for this team. He is not good enough for this team.
Not only is he not good enough, but there is no succession plan in place whatsoever.
No, there's no heir apparent. That's what blows our minds. It's like, okay, well, at least we know, like,
and to be as charitable as possible. It's like he's 35. It's like, did you just think he was gonna play forever?
Like, he's not Pep. And I know goalies, their prime years tend to be a bit later and longer on average compared to your average like outfield player, right? Like Buffon was playing like into his 40s at a very high level.
It's easier for a goalie to go to 38 than an outfield player for sure.
Oh yeah, like you see goalies all the time now, like go to like their late 30s and still playing like.
Think about how bad Adan's gonna be when he's 38, bro. That's in like another 3 more years.
Don't worry, he'll still be starting. So we'll find
that evil. Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby? Don't you put that on us?
No,
God, he's not going to be one of those goalies.
For 2 years, we've been saying he's not good enough, and we had this situation with striker. We said Paulinho's not good enough to lead the line. They brought in Gyökeres, and we were like, okay, where's the goalkeeper? Oh, we're not getting a goalkeeper this year. Why? He was so bad last year. I can understand at the start of last season, you say like, oh, okay. Because to be fair, he did have some mistakes, but he was never like this bad. He was never every single shot is going to go in. That's because it
was never like as soon as the team gets. It was never to a point where like as soon as the team is in our attacking third, I'm like, oh God, we're screwed.
But what I remember most about Adan from last season was that there was a report, because I remember I tweeted it, that he was going to be out for like 3 months. He had a really bad injury. He was going to be out before, I think it was before the Braga game. He was going to be out for ages. And I think he did miss one game, and then it was back the next.
I
game.
remember that.
Like 3 months. He used John Cena's superhero
he wasn't
powers.
Actually that hurt.
It was the quickest 3 months you ever saw.
But my conspiracy theory is that he was hurt, and he still is hurt. That's why he's.
And that's why he's playing bad. He's never healed.
I think it was. I think maybe not now, but for that season, I think it was ego for him. He was like, okay, I can do this, because it was as soon as that news came out, that's when it started to go rapidly downhill. Because that was only a month before Marseille. That game. There's also the Porto and the Allianz Cup. There's also Midtjylland first leg. There's so many games that we can name that he's made mistakes in. It all stems from that injury. That's my conspiracy theory, that he was injured and now he just doesn't have any confidence. And like we said, there's no backup plan in place. Israel is not a backup plan because if he was, he'd be playing a lot more. He'd be rotated a lot more. He shouldn't be
playing more than
like
once or twice a month.
He shouldn't just be, oh yeah, he's the Tassa goalkeeper. When we have a Tassa game, we'll wheel him out to play 90 minutes, then
and
never play
occasional
again.
Europa League group stage goalkeeper. Like
only when the group was decided. Only when the group was decided he came in. And that's not a good plan. You can see with other goalkeepers in the world that if there is a rotation, that they play more and like they're being sort of ready to be in that position. I do love Franco Israel, and I think he's a really good player. He seems like an overall nice guy.
Oh, he does,
but I don't think he's ready.
Yeah,
and
I just don't know that he's ready to take that full time, which is the scary part. I think there is a player there. I think there is a keeper there, absolutely.
Well, one of the best football minds in history, Marcelo Bielsa, seems to believe that Israel is a good enough goalkeeper to start for Uruguay.
So there's clearly something. There's something there in the player. I think the thing is you need to start giving him more games.
And for me, I think Bielsa takes it because he's good with his feet. But we don't see his shot stopping because he plays 2 months at a time. And guess what? When you don't do something for 2 months and all you have is training and you go into a game, you are going to make mistakes. You are going to not be, because match sharpness is a real thing. And I think it's more of a real thing for goalkeepers than any other position. Maybe centre back you could put in there. But strikers always have the same opinion, like score goals, and it's sort of natural to them. But goalkeeper, you need the stretching and like
there's
the in-game match.
There's only so much practice will do for a goalkeeper, right? Like you need to be in real game situations.
And you can simulate crosses. You can simulate crosses all you want, but nothing is like coming and collecting in a crowded box with 50,000 people screaming, you know.
And they're all like willing to die for that ball. Whereas in practice, everyone's like, "I'm trying, but I'm only like going like."
Or there's just like there's no one. It's just like a phantom goalkeeper coach, just like trying to scream a little bit, you know.
It's not the same thing. The only thing like you could really practice and like it wouldn't matter in a game regardless is like saving penalty kicks because that's just a crapshoot anyways. That's really it. Like crosses, deflected shots, long balls, like breakaway situations. Like you can only practice that so much. You need to be in real game situations and facing those on at least a semi-regular basis, not once or maybe twice a month in a real game.
But he doesn't even like if he was supposed to be the successor, I've loaned him out to a team or just put him in the B team for some games. Just do it. Like
start him more. Yes, like, who cares?
Exactly.
Like, you're doing none of the three things that would help this young player in his development. You're like, it's self-sabotage at its finest watching this club some days. You're self-sabotaging by putting a garbage keeper in net. You're sabotaging the young guy by putting him out there once a month and hanging him out to dry and not giving him any game time. You're sabotaging the fucking name of the club. This is infuriating stuff. Like everything they could have done that you listed, Sam, they've just chosen not to do.
Yeah,
and that's what's frustrating.
And it's frustrating for us. Could you imagine being someone on the pitch like Viktor Gyökeres, who scores almost twice every game or scores every game, works hard for 90 minutes non-stop, sometimes 95, 96 minutes, always running,
you got to put up with
always putting his team on the line. Coates is on one knee and he's injured every other game. To be fair, so is St. Just, and he has to come in and get injured. Morita has flown back from the Asian Cup and played like the next 3 days because he wants to win. Jenny the same, Diamonde the same. All these players that you could tell sacrifice and do all this for the club and have great performance after great performance, because this team has done really well this season. I know there's been some hiccups this game with Victoria Guimarães, Benfica in the league, but overall consistently good. Apart from Adan, who is not consistently good.
He's been the one.
And this is the reason
who's not had any standout games for me this season.
And we drop points not because of Coates, not because of Diamonde or Gyökeres or Trincao or anyone. It is because of Adan. And everyone can see that, apart from the one guy who needs to see it, and that is Ruben Amorim. And I don't know why. It's loyalty, but why? Why? What is there to be loyal to? He won us the title.
I do think the people above him share some blame though, because like they're watching the games like us. Watching games like us. At the end of the day, they could one of them, if not both of them, has the power to say, you know what, like maybe we should start looking at alternatives. Maybe this isn't working anymore. We should start looking to a line of succession, and they haven't done that either. So I think it's a failure all around. I don't think you can pin it on any one person in the hierarchy. I think it's on multiple people. I think it's on.
I disagree for one reason, and that's
How dare you disagree with me? How dare you?
If we said we needed a striker, and everyone was like, "We don't need a striker," and Varandas and Ugo said, "No, we need a striker." Here comes Slimani, and to be fair, that was also due to Varandas' election, just to secure some more votes.
He wanted to get some brownie points.
And look what happened. That ended in. If Amorim does not want a player, he will not use him.
No, exactly.
He will always go with his favourites, and that's to a downfall. But it's blind loyalty. Why does it down? And I get trying to be like, oh yeah, confidence is, need to keep his confidence. He's not looked confident in 2.5 years. He's not looked for that title winning season. Adan was really good. Again, I can't really point to exact games, but he was
consistent. He was consistent, save for a few hiccups along the way, which is going to happen with any goalie. He was reliable. You could depend on him most games.
Exactly, and there's that clip of Roy Keane talking about David Gea saying, "Oh, the last Gea made a great save." It's like, yeah, that's his job. Like,
that's what he's paid was 10 the goal. You're a goaltender, 10 the goal.
Exactly, but for me, it's just Adan is here, and there's one more thing I want to mention about Adan. And we've all been sporting fans since birth for a long time. Some of us pay quotas, some of us buy kits. I would like to say anyone who is a sporting fan is on the same level as each other. But why is the holier than thou people always like, oh, we can't hate Adan because Adan won us the title, or you shouldn't hate players in this stage of their career in bad form because it doesn't. If you were at work and you had bad performance after bad performance, you were costing your company money, you would get sacked. People would be mad at you. Why is it different for the sporting? Why are we giving players the benefit of the doubt and saying, oh, and by the way, I'm not saying, go to Adan's Instagram account and hate him. I've always said, do not go to personal accounts.
No, don't be a psycho online either, but you're allowed to be critical of players.
But footballers earn the most money in any other profession, well, especially in Portugal. Dan's probably sitting on a healthy wage. He can retire and not have to worry about the money for the rest of his life.
I think he's just shade under $1 million or like 800K, something like that.
Yeah, he's well into the six figures.
And he's also played for some of the biggest clubs in the world, Real Madrid, Atletico Madrid. He obviously earned quite a lot of money. So he's not immune from criticism because he gets paid to do his job. And guess what? He's not doing it. If it was happening to any of us, we were working, we're getting paid to do our jobs and we weren't doing it correctly, there would be consequences. So when people are like, oh, Dan wants the title, people have such short memories. Football isn't played in the past. It's played in the
COVID was still a thing when we won the title. We were still in lockdown when that happened. It was 3 years ago almost.
I know.
If that's the case, then we should still have John Mario.
20 years ago.
It feels so much longer than 3 years ago.
People use the title. We say, oh, he won us the title. So did John Mario. Is he immune from criticism because you're
No, he fucking sucked. And then he left and no one gave a shit.
Exactly. No one is immune from criticism in this team. And if you're consistently doing your job badly, which Dan is doing it consistently, he deserves to be treated so. He deserves to be booed. I will say it. I'm always people are like, oh, don't boo the players. If he cost our team the Champions League, how much money was that? 20 million almost guaranteed. Because all we had to do was, I think, draw to Marseille or beat Marseille, and we're into the next round. That's 9 points in the Champions League group if we beat Marseille. And we were on our way to winning it. Trincao scored in like the first 3 minutes. Marseille were not beating us that game. And obviously anything can happen in football. And Adan solely choked us that game. No doubt about it. People say it's harsh, but it's true. He choked us that game. He cost us 20 million and into the next round of the Champions League. He cost us the final against Porto in the Taça da Liga from a shot that was straight at him. All he has to do is hit it over the bar. He try and catch it. Goes through his hands. He nearly cost us against
the one time he should have tried to punch the ball is the time he tried to catch it instead. That's the most infuriating thing.
Yeah.
That's the crazy thing. Like that's the one time you needed to punch it and you just did not do that. Like it's unbelievable.
He cost us against Midtjylland in the first day. Fair enough, we turned it around. Against Spurs at London Stadium or White Hart Lane, whatever it's called, he is at fault for the goal because he tries to go out to punch the ball, realizes, shit, I should have stayed in my goal, falls to the floor, and the ref's obviously like, well, it's not a foul because, you're just
play on
the floor.
goal sport. Like,
and
brutal.
obviously against this game as well, luckily it's not a loss because it arguably felt like one. And with so little, like, we have one game in hand of Benfica, but we still have Benfica to play, Porto to play, Victoria Guimarães to play.
We have a healthy.
We have so many games to play. And we cannot afford to drop points. No disrespect to Rio Ave, because it's a very tough place to go Vila do Conde and try and get a win because it's a really tough atmosphere. The pitch was also awful. You have to say it was.
You have to say it was raining, Sam.
Yeah,
I know the meme. Forget that it was raining.
But genuinely, the pitch was bad. And but I'm not saying, oh yeah, we shouldn't have won that because the pitch was bad, because we beat Nacional in 2021. Where the pitch was unplayable. That game should have been called off, let's be real.
Pitch was
and we still won that game. And this game we didn't. And you can't blame the pitch because, we were winning without the pitch and nothing changed that. For me, Adan needs to go. And until he stops starting. And I don't think Israel's the answer, but at this point now, what do we have to lose? Is Adan better than Israel? No. Is Israel better than Adan? Also,
we have no clue. We have no clue.
We don't know because
we don't actually know. We
Israel
may never
plays
know.
2 months at a time.
Yeah.
The other thing I want to say is, I know there was some not that popular representing it, but there is a vocal contingency of people that were like, just throw Kalai in there.
No,
well, Kalai has been thrown in there at Feirense, which is a level up from where he's playing, and.
He's looked good.
It looked good, but he's definitely had like 3 frangus that I have seen. And the last game, for some reason, they keep being on Sport TV. He wasn't playing in their last game. I don't know if he's benched indefinitely, but there was somebody else playing goal. So make of that what you will.
Yeah.
I think if you would have just thrown him in, he would have seen some growing pains for sure.
Yeah,
and there would have been some frangus.
To echo a famous man, he has to go, blood. He has to go.
For me, if he's here next season, I'm just not going to watch because I know what the outcome's going to be.
Well, I mean, he's now 1 game away because he played today, right? So he's 1 more game.
Yeah,
he's coming back.
He's 2. He didn't play against Benfica, so he's got 2 more games.
He's got 2 more games.
He's coming back. It's just a matter of whether.
I also don't know.
Or not.
I don't know if it's 2 league games or just 2 games in general, because I feel like it could be league games.
I wonder if he'll hit his 2 games. Who could tell?
But after playing today, I thought Israel was, like I said, I don't think he was like, I was like, Israel, that's so your fault, because it wasn't. But he was good distribution-wise. He looked confident.
He's better distributing than Adan, because Adan makes suicide passes up the middle of the pitch, which is like the first thing they teach you as a goalie not to do when distributing.
And Adan panics when he has the ball at his
middle.
feet. Adan panics when he has the ball at his feet. If he had someone like Rafa or Tengstedt or Di Maria running at him this game, he would have given the ball away so many times. But Israel was so calm and collected, giving it to Quaresma, Coates, etc., or even doing long balls to Gyökeres, which, to be fair, Gyökeres felt like he won every single one of them. It just, to me, there's nothing to lose by putting Israel in goal right now. There is more to lose than keeping Adan than putting Israel, for me. But at the same time, we still don't know who's better because we've not been given the chance.
We don't really, because we haven't been given a chance to find out if someone is better.
But yeah, this is it. If you are in bad form, no matter what position you play, you need to be dropped.
Yeah,
it is.
You've hit the nail on the head.
We've said it about Esgaio, Paulinho, and they have been benched. And even midfielders, Braganza's not been doing well. He's been benched. He doesn't start. Nuno Santos was benched for this game and was benched against Porto as well. But why is Adan immune from it? And why does Israel? If I'm Israel on the bench and I see Adan doing that week after week, I'm fuming. Why am I here? Why am I here? Because this happens every week. And I know there's obviously like, you have to, in team spirit, you have to be like, yeah, that's my goalkeeper, blah, blah, blah. But but this is what I mean. Israel isn't ready. I agree. But whose fault is it that he's not ready? It's Amorim and the team.
Entirely on.
There's only one way to get ready, and that is to play. Adan is not as ready as Israel. Sorry, Israel isn't as ready as Dan is, right? Or vice versa, because they're both not ready.
Well, brother, it's time to get ready.
Yeah, they got to get ready sooner rather than later, and let's just get it over with sooner. I'm almost of that opinion.
Either
But
you're
I
ready
don't know
now
what
or
the-
you're
what
never
the plan
ready. I mean,
is.
he's 23.
Yeah.
It's not like he's 17.
No, he's
Yeah.
a grown man now officially.
For me, it looks like maybe they're looking to either sell Israel to get some money, but I don't know who'd buy him at this point. Maybe he's got the Bielsa part of it that he could go maybe to like a team in Uruguay or he could go to Serie A. Because he's still, Juventus Academy, you have to be sort of good to play.
You got to be decent to get into an academy like that at the end of the day. They just don't let anybody in there.
So I don't know if they're trying to sell him next summer and bring in an actual keeper, because there's so many in the league. Andrew, there's Arabuena, there's Ricardo
Luis
Velio,
Jr.
there's so many, Luis Jr., there's so many goalkeepers. Even Porto's 3 goalkeepers, I would say, Diogo Costa, Claudio Ramos, and Sammy Portugal.
They'd be starters on any other team in the league besides like Porto and Benfica, realistically. And they're just on. That's their bench. They have both of those guys. Like, that's just not fair.
Yeah. But other than that, I feel like I've rambled on enough about Dan. So I think we can.
Who's your man?
I have an unpopular take to deliver regarding.
You have an unpopular take. All right, lay it on.
Well, it's going to be unpopular among Sportingistas, but.
So probably popular with us then.
The potential penalty shout on Trincão. I don't think that's a penalty.
Yeah, I don't think it is either. I don't. I think it sets a bad precedent if it was, because
I have done this before.
And he wins the ball.
It really hurts to kick the bottom of another guy's foot because the top of your cleat has like no padding, and you're literally just kicking spikes full force. It hurts. That's why he's out for like a week, because his foot is all fucking bruised. It hurts.
Yeah, it's not.
But he won the ball first. If he doesn't win the ball first, it's a different story. But if you slow it down, like to like almost no speed, you can see that his foot gets the ball first, and then Trincão basically just kicks the bottom of his foot. I think it's the right call, which is apparently a very unpopular take amongst the sporting community, based on what I saw at least.
We're used to it though. We're used to it. We speak the truth.
I like to think I'm unbiased. I wanted it to be a 10. I would have
liked it to be, but like I can see why they didn't call, and I'm
probably watched it 30 times, but I really don't think it's a 10.
Yeah. Man of the match, Sam. Who's your man of the match?
Me having to watch 90 minutes of that, man. That's one of my matches.
Chris, what about you?
Yeah, I was just looking for an angle for the Trincão.
Oh, for the penalty?
Man of the match.
The non-penalty, rather.
I can't show the video for obvious reasons.
No, we'll get strikes so quick from Sport TV.
I'll go with
for me.
Yeah,
to be fair. Yeah, but quickly for me, this one, like I said, the guy goes to the ball, he gets the ball. I don't think it's reckless because he gets the ball, and Trincão, you could argue, makes the contact first with him.
You could say it studs up, maybe, but it's like, how else is he really supposed to challenge for it?
How's he supposed to clear the ball?
Yeah. The ball's at kind of a weird height. He kind of has to put his foot up.
Yeah, he can't put his head there, because otherwise he's probably going to get killed.
He's going to get freaking concussion and more, yeah.
But yeah. Man of the match for me.
Man of the match for me. So your man of the match is who, Sam?
Me, for having to watch that.
My man of the match is Antonio Haddad. No, just kidding. My man of the match, I'll go.
Rio Ave's man of the match, yeah.
Rio Ave's man of the match is Antonio Haddad. My man of the match, I'll go with Hjulmand. I thought he played pretty well. He got a goal. He was good all around.
Yeah. Fair
My
enough.
second choice would have been anybody who had to watch that game who's a Sportingista.
Yeah, let's go on to more light-hearted events then, and that is the
league
fantasy.
Or fantasy. We got fantasy first.
We'll
all right,
fantasy first.
Someone had a decent week this week.
Nice.
Oh, it was Danny with 85.
Danny
and I had a pretty good week, 78, and then you guys still put up 80.
Yeah, me and Danny will put up 80, plus 80.
I was one below
for all the weeks that I
score.
didn't put up plus 80.
I actually had a lead on Danny going into the last day, but then I think Banza scored 2, and because Baga played on Monday.
Banza on the bench.
I left him on the. I think I might have.
Fucking Danny didn't.
Danny did not. This is your team, Sam? Yikes.
Yeah, I think Braga played
Yeah, it
Monday
was,
in the last game. So
Yeah, I
like, on
forgot
Sunday,
there was
I
a
was
Monday.
actually
I forgot there was a Monday game.
on Sunday. I was like in a really good
Oh,
spot.
no, I did
and
have
then,
I did have
yeah,
Bonza. I think
ended
the
up
only
in
points I
third.
really lost was Mateo Oliveira getting the stupid red card.
Yeah.
Yeah, I pretty much got max points.
Remember
outside
Adan's
of that.
two frangos on Mateus Oliveira earlier this season?
Yes.
Yeah,
We almost
did.
lost, but then we
How
went
could
up
I
1-3-2.
How could I forget?
Yeah. And then it was,
Yeah, he had a pretty good week, but
I guess leaving
Well,
6 points
he
on the
just-
bench and
he left-
4 with
Yeah, well,
He left 4 points from his
Ferenc and
goalie, and
Moreira's
he-
played each other, so I had to pick one, and I was like, I'm gonna go.
you just picked the wrong one.
I picked the
that's
wrong
it.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, you left 4 points for a goalie, another like 3 points by leaving Borja on the bench. That's it.
and then Danny.
Oh,
Oh, he's
that's
dropped to
7
third in Canada, man.
Someone leapfrogged him
leapfrogged
again. He's been
That front line is just firepower right there. Those are the three
It's-
top
it's a
scorers
cheat
in the
code.
league.
it's a cheat code to have
Yeah.
those guys. Yeah.
Yeah, and Rafa as well. Still left some points on the bench with.
He
Left
still has
Lalo-
no backup goalie. Respect.
Yeah, he's still running without a backup.
Does that
I
count
guess.
as 0.0 like points?
Does that count against his salary? I
Yeah,
don't
against
know,
the salary
actually.
cap, because that low key might be the move.
That might be a play because then you can just spam like a crazy like midfielder or forward, right? Like
He's getting
We'll
like
have to look
five.
in-
He's getting like four,
we'll have to
five,
look, in,
3
we'll have to
million.
look into that at some point for sure. We'll have to.
But I don't know if
we'll
it lets
ask
you
him.
do it.
I don't know. I don't
think
know.
he's kind of grandfathered in because that player got cheated.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able
Yeah.
to do it now. It was only because he's.
I'm
there,
assuming.
yeah.
I'm assuming he still has to like if he wants to use any unused salary, he still has to sub that guy out and
Yeah.
start from whatever, right? Because yeah,
Yeah.
that would be a maneuver if like just a dude leaves the league or something or leaves the team, and then it's like, well, you still have like this unused salary, like cheat. That could be a cheat code.
Or maybe it is just counting the salary, but it's not counting a.
I'm assuming.
viable
I'm
player.
assuming it might be, but like
Yeah.
we don't know. Actually, we'll have to ask him next time. Oh,
On to
we got
league
predictions.
predictions. I forgot to submit one this
Twice
for
this
both
week.
games. To be fair, yeah, I was going to say
Yeah,
completely forgot.
you
I
let
put
Danny
mine
catch
in
up to you, I
literally
think.
like 10 minutes ago for finance.
for finance. I'll have to put mine in right after then. Yeah, I put mine in. It didn't save, so I went back in like right at the start of the Rio Ave game, right as Rio Ave scored. I was like, it's 2-0. I'm not gonna sit there and say, oh, it's 2-1. I kept myself honest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, so we all got a point because we all got a goal scorer.
Well,
but
not
no one
all
got the
got a
win.
point.
Okay,
You know.
the ones who filled out predictions, we all got a point. Those who didn't, that's on you. And then the toss-up was similar today, I think. We all got a point and 2 points except for Sam. You're letting your fans down, Sam. That's all I can tell you.
I just forget, man.
Yeah,
I don't
it
know.
happens. Not to me, but it happens.
I don't have you to remind me. You see, you're
Yeah.
But yeah, let's go straight to the top. I have unfortunately slipped down. I'm still there, and I'll definitely put them in.
Yeah,
after
Danny
this.
leapfrogged you this week because you forgot those 2 games. That's the only reason. That's literally the only reason he leapfrogged you. If you had put anything down, you would have got at least a point. So yeah. 751. Danny 1 point ahead of him at 52. Chris 5 points up on Danny at 57. And I am 9 points up on Chris right now. Still a lot of games going on at 66 points. So we still have at least 2 more Europa League games. We have at minimum 1 more Tossa game plus all the league games. And that includes the makeup game against Famalicão, which we still haven't heard anything about.
Speaking of games, we have been drawn in the Europa League, of course.
Oh yeah, we got to
beating,
talk about this. I almost forgot about it.
BC Young Boys. And we can't forget Atlanta again, who obviously beat us once.
Three of the games in the round of 16 are replays of the group stage, by the way.
Yeah,
we're not the only
Sparta
one.
Prague and West Ham, I think the 3.
Was it West Ham or was it Liverpool?
I think it was West Ham. Yeah, because
either way, I know we're one of the we're obviously one of the 3, but yeah, there was 3 games that were replays of the group stage. That being said, I'm not upset with the draw. I thought we played Atlanta really well. The game we lost, it was a 2-1 loss, and they were very unlucky to not.
And it was Dan's fault for the first goal.
The first goal was Dan's fault. And then in the second game was, I believe, a 1-1 draw. We drew the second game in Italy.
Yeah,
So a
the first
decent
game
draw. Like they'll be
was-
familiar with us. So
the first game was a weird setup because Coates was like injured, but he wasn't like he was fit for
because Nada
45
got thrown to
minutes.
the Wolves.
Yeah, it was a weird game. And then I think Edwards and Jenny and Coates came on, and the game changed because they were both
They
really
ball.
good.
Yeah,
I can't
that was
remember if the first or
Edwards
second
balled
game.
out in that game. I remember.
But it's annoying, but it's also, I think, a good mentality to have a revenge game against these guys because they at the first game I thought they were really good at Atlanta. The second game I didn't see too much that I thought, wow, these guys are dominating us, and they also just did lose 4-0 to Inter Milan. So
we'll take it.
Also,
we take those.
Yeah, we'll take it.
Yeah, I reckon this is a decent draw. Like they avoided really any start. Like they avoided the Liverpools of the world. They avoided like West Ham, who I thought would have been tricky despite some of their recent form.
I thought
it's a good draw for them.
Weekend.
Yeah.
Who? What?
4-0.
They lost 4-0
Atlanta lost
this
4-0.
weekend.
Yeah, they avoided the big sharks that we would say by just traditional definition. So I think it's very winnable for sure. We know they can hang with these guys. We know they'll hang with us. So it's going to be close. It's not going to be a blowout, I don't think. They got a draw that in theory they should at least be in with a shot to get to the quarterfinals again. So we'll go up from there.
Yeah. One game at a time. But of course, before that, we've got Florence in the league on Sunday, and then next Thursday, or is it Tuesday? One of the games is different.
Wednesday.
I can't remember
The Europa League
Wednesday.
game has been moved to Wednesday instead of Thursday.
Because of all there's so much going on, in the world.
Yeah.
So are we the only team playing, or are we playing? We're playing Champions League night.
We're playing champions, but not champions. I can confirm that
we're playing with the champions, I suppose.
We're playing with the
Champions
champions,
League.
but we're not
next
actually
to
playing champions. Yeah, so we play Wednesday, March. So we play Wednesday against Atlanta. I think we're the only team playing Europa League that day, but let me double check.
Oh yeah, we're special.
Yeah, we're the only game that day. We are the only.
Imagine playing Thursday.
Could never be us.
Couldn't be me.
Until the week after, which it will be.
Yeah, no. So they're the only game on Wednesday. They're 12:45. I'm assuming so as to not conflict with the other championship games. That's whatever. It is what it is. So they play Wednesday. I know one of their games against Benfica has been moved around to either the second Taça game or the league game because of the I know there's elections coming up in Portugal. I see it on my timeline every day.
March 10th.
Yeah, so I think they had to move something around as well for that. They moved another game around. I know that. But yeah. Do we have any modalidad stuff to really go over?
Handball, historic.
Yes, handball.
Union or Fuchs Berlin, 2 games in a row. They beat them at home, and they actually clinched first place in their group. So the way that this second group stage works is first place gets through to the quarterfinals, and then second and third in the group goes into the round of 16. So they basically avoided the round of 16, and they're automatically through to the quarterfinals with a game in hand. Nice. And they beat the defending champions back to back. And they won again, and they're undefeated in the league, 19-0. So, I mean, handball is having a great season. That's for damn sure.
That's for true.
Futsal won. Yeah. I think they're second place, 2 points back of Braga.
It's really close.
Benfica is low-key having a horrible season in futsal and in hockey. They're like 10 points off the top in both of those. But I hate to say it, but hockey is really the only one where it's not the trace. But like, it just matters when you get to the playoffs. To be honest, same with basketball. Yeah. You finish second, you finish third, you finish fourth.
There's a playoff.
You get out at the right time. Literally 85% of the season doesn't matter.
Yeah.
As long as you get in. As long as you get in.
As long as you get in, you got a chance, right? Like, that's literally the mentality. I know Tainan said some weird shit on the
So
Instagram.
Benfica maybe in third or fourth of futsal right now, but if the finals Benfica's boarding,
something we can't repeat.
We're not gonna repeat it. We're not gonna show it. Tainan said some stuff that we do not endorse here at All Things Alvalade.
I mean, I don't endorse jumping in the field either to stop.
I don't endorse. Yeah, I don't endorse that either. But yeah, he said some.
But I do endorse him being the leading scorer in the league.
Yeah. He said something sort of out of pocket on Instagram story.
Yeah,
and,
I'm pretty sure Tainan is a Bolsonaro fan, which I didn't know before.
Well, if you didn't know before, now you know.
It would explain some of his other posts. Yeah,
and it was also like there's a mentality like some of the Brazilians I know say that, and they use these because they're Brazilian. They're not white.
Naturalized Kazakh Brazilian. To be specific.
Yeah, exactly. He's from Kazakhstan. But yeah, we don't condone what he said. We don't endorse it by any stretch. We're not about that life. We hope you're not either.
Yeah, with politics these days, you never know.
You don't know. I don't think he meant anything like malicious by it, but like don't say it. Still, like be self-aware. Like, dude, be smart.
Let's end on a more positive note. And this tweet was from, well, I'll tell you, November 13th.
Yeah. This is from the Derby Day, yeah.
And the next he was one, correct.
He was right on this one.
I mean,
what can't he do?
Still a second leg to go, but at the same time,
technically not wrong. He was technically wasn't wrong.
He is correct. He said the next one we're gonna win, and we did. So
so what can't Gyökeres do? We don't know yet. The journey.
Well, I mean,
the search continues.
Only the GOAT can play in goal. We've not seen Gyökeres play in goal yet. I'm just saying. But
well, he'd probably be an upgrade over Adan.
I'm gonna say Adan doesn't really play in goal, does he? So
he just shows up. He's just there. He's a body on the pitch.
But yeah, on that positive note on Gyökeres, we will end it there. I don't think there's anything else unless you guys can think of anything else.
Nothing I can really think of. That nothing really happened like newsworthy outside of like the sports this week to begin with. It was kind of quiet.
No. But yeah, I guess next week we'll be back with the Atlanta first leg reactions and hopefully a Florence win as well, and we'll see an Atlanta win as well. But before we go, make sure you follow Richard there. Make sure you follow Chris there. I also just realized I forgot to shout out Danny at the start of the show. Shout out Danny, couldn't make it today.
He didn't show up. Don't shout him out.
Missed a good episode, to be fair.
He missed the Benfica win. He would have lost. He would have had some choice words, I'm sure.
Yeah, and make sure you follow myself there. But most importantly, make sure you follow All Things Alvalade on all social media platforms and podcast platforms. We should be there. But other than that, thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next Thursday. Peace.